see us live. Hello, everybody.
Do a little test here. I'm not seeing us.
No?
No. Oh, there I am. All right. Okay, good. Hey, everybody. I'm Keith Gosnell from AMP Publishing, and this is Mark Thompson from Digital Kickstart.
How's everybody doing today?
Thanks so much for joining us. Today we're going to have a little talk about SMS marketing. And as you'll see, we are actually in the Digital Kickstart studio, brand new, just built. So thanks so much for inviting me into it. It's awesome.
Of course.
We're going to talk a little bit about SMS marketing, and we're going to get into, Mark has a brand new platform coming out, a new SMS platform called Text Deliver. So he's going to give us a little bit of a demo on that here in a little bit. But first we're going to kind of just jump right in. If anybody's having any audio issues, any other kind of issues, please just drop us a comment, and we'll make sure we try to get it corrected. But we did a lot of tests before this, so we're live, so we'll just see what happens.
It's a work in progress. There's always things, yeah.
Exactly, but I think we've got it. All right, let me just do one little check here. Okay, good, it's working there too. All right, SMS marketing. Traditionally, a lot of us it's all about the email marketing. And as of late, there's been a lot of talk about deliverability issues. The big providers, Gmail, Yahoo, all of them are really cracking down on deliverability, which is making it hard, to get those open rates. So really, to complement, your marketing, SMS is a perfect match for that. So, Mark, can you tell us a little bit about kind of your experience and what you found and the differences and the nuances between each of them?
Yeah, so, like you said, so the first thing with email is, back 3, 5, 7 years ago, your open rates were 30%. Then it dropped to 20%, and then it went down to 10, and now you'd be lucky to break 5 if you're lucky, right? Because Google and other, email providers are just, everything's going to spam, right? Especially if you're trying to market to people. They've just gotten so much better at weeding out all of the junk, right? And so, not only have your opens dropped, but, people just aren't taking action on your emails as much. Whereas when everybody has a mobile device on them, right? Where's your mobile device right now? It's probably within 2 feet of you, right? And when you get a text message, you open that text message up within a few seconds, as opposed to a few hours, if at all. So that's one of the reasons that we really are placing more emphasis on SMS marketing. Now, email marketing is never going to go away. There's always going to be a need for it, but it's just going to complement your overall marketing approach. And so, like I was saying, SMS is going to be a bigger part of it, but it's just going to complement the other pieces of the marketing pie. But there are some certain differences in terms of how you market your SMS versus email. So I don't know, do you want me to kind of go through those things?
Yeah, let's dive into it.
Okay.
Definitely.
So the first thing is that now everyone should know, there's some common sense things, right? You need to make sure that they opt in legitimately, that they know that they're on your list. Just like an email list, it's the same rules apply. And there's also some legal compliance, and we'll talk about the legalities of it, but that's just kind of for starters, right? Now, the major one is that you only have 160 characters to work with. So, it's not like an email where you have really as long as you want. You can put images and GIFs and video inside of an email. You have 160 characters. So really, it needs to be short and concise and to the point. So it's almost like writing a headline for an email, except your email headline is your entire message. So the other thing to think about is that with your phone, it's more of a personal connection, right? When you get a text message, you don't really think of it as being marketed to. So, so don't market to them directly, right? Maybe you're just promoting a live event, or you're going to send them a link to a new podcast or a new interview or a new blog post, whatever it is. This is people's personal space, and so you need to understand that as marketers, right? With email, people are so used to getting marketed through email. With text messages, not so much. It's still kind of relatively new for marketers, right? You get transactional emails all the time, or text messages, I should say, but not so much marketing. So when you're marketing to people, try to make sure that you have a really good engagement and a connection with your audience, okay? Anything you want to add on that?
Actually, it was interesting what you said, because it's really time of day. Is really kind of a big effect. Email, it's just anytime you want to, but there's certain times of day I think you really kind of need to avoid. With a text message. If you
So the one thing that I always try to do is whenever I send out a text message, I try to make sure that it's So if we have a webinar coming up, say this webinar is at 7 o'clock, instead of doing an email broadcast, which usually you'll give a reminder within like an hour or two, with a text message, again, their phone is usually in their hand, so we'll do it, within a few minutes or 5 minutes max, because that's how you can get people on instantly, right? Again, they have their phone on them, all they need to do is click the link and then they're ready to go. So it's a little bit of a different scenario. You're not trying to send a text message, hours beforehand, because the engagement is instantaneous, right? The other thing that I forgot to mention about the 160 character limit is that you also have your legal message that has to be in every single text message. So where it'll say, where it says stop or text stop to opt out, that has to be included with your message. So that takes up 12, 15 characters right there. Not to mention if you add a link. So if you add a link, then obviously you want to shorten that URL. So you can use Bitly or Google Shortener. Now with Text Deliver, I'll show you guys in a little bit here that we automatically shorten the URLs for you. So every character counts when it comes to text messaging. So you want to make sure that you're shortening your URLs. Okay. The other thing is sending SMS offers only. So instead of have an incentive for people to opt in, right? Just like you would do with a lead capture page with email, do the same thing with text messaging. So text the word 20 off to 313131 to receive a 20% off coupon that is only for mobile subscribers, right? And then you'll receive mobile only private offers or specials as long as you stay on the list. So make an incentive for them to want to stay on your list. Don't just make it generic, like get on our mobile list, right? Make sure that there's some sort of incentive.
Sure, and and some of those incentives, especially things for I was gonna say like restaurants or any kind of service industry type thing is the only way they can claim those exclusively, right? It's an exclusive bonus is to show it.
Right.
You go to whatever it is, restaurant, bar, retail store,
right.
And show this particular message. So you have to kind of make that exclusive, to that person so that they're feeling the love.
Right? Yeah, and that's why a lot of offline companies, local brick and mortar stores have adopted mobile marketing just because of that reason. With online, it's a little bit different, but you can still use it for, you can still use it in the same way, right? It's just that coupon code would be used at your checkout, right? And there's other ways to do, dynamic coupon codes where it can only be used or claimed in a certain amount of time or for that specific person. The other really big thing that people don't think about is you're sending messages to 100% mobile people on their phones. So you need to make sure that this is 100% mobile traffic. So your page, wherever you send them to, needs to be responsive for all different devices. So make sure that you're going in and testing on Android or iOS. We use something called Browser Stack, which is really nice that you can go and see how your page renders in all the different mobile devices, tablets, that kind of stuff. So I know it's kind of common sense, but a lot of people don't really think about it,
Absolutely, and that really, so that SMS platform, essentially is just a piece of the puzzle of mobile marketing. Like you said, I was just looking around today and found a stat about mobile. 74% of people, they leave a mobile site if it doesn't load within 5 seconds.
Yeah.
So it's got to be responsive. It's got to be mobile friendly.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So the final one, number 5 here, if anyone's counting here, is adding the day and time in your message. So similar to an email, like when you write an email and you put a date in there, you can click on it and add it to your calendar. Well, same thing with mobile devices. Most phones nowadays do that. So when they see a date or a date and time, you can click on it and then add it to your calendar. So that's really good if you're trying to get people to sign up for a webinar. Make it really easy for them just to click it, add it to their calendar, and it's really easy. So those are kind of 5 tips. Most people, probably people that are listening to this are probably new to SMS or have never done it before, and so you probably have either done some sort of email marketing, and so there are some similarities, but those are some kind of unique things to think about.
And how about open rates, click-through rates, response rates? As far as SMS is concerned, it's mind-boggling.
Yeah, it is. It's crazy. Well, you think about it. Just how many text messages have you gotten that you didn't open, right? It's close to 98% of text messages you open just because it's just a different form of communication, and people don't. It's not like email, right? And so like with email, you're lucky to get 2, 3, 4, 5%, even on the most responsive email list. So yeah, I mean that's one of the big ones, right? Just being able to get your message out there, get it across. And if you can get someone on your email list and your mobile list, then you got best of all worlds, and just another chance of getting your message out there.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, you touched on something earlier too, which was really compliance.
Yeah, and that's
not a
a
sexy topic, understandable, but to me, I mean, it's one of the most important. It can really make or break you. You leave out something as important as being compliant and following the law. It will break your business. So I know you've done a lot with text delivered to ensure that customers are covered there as well.
Right.
But kind of talk about what you learned in this process of building this platform.
Yeah, I mean, because this platform has been being built for probably about 9 months now, full time, and we've learned a lot. Just researching what type of legal compliance you need to have. We hired our lawyer to put together all sorts of documents and making sure that we have certain fail safes in the app so that you guys are covered. And most marketers don't even think about legal until it actually happens, and then you're like, oh shit, and then
Too late.
And then yeah, too late. And what people don't realize is you could pay up to $500 per text message that is unsolicited. So obviously making sure that they know that they're being put on your list is number one, which is the common sense. But there's other things that you wouldn't think about. So for example, you have to collect the IP address, the location of them, and then also where they opted in from. You need to collect that information and keep it for at least 4 years. So yeah, right. I mean, you wouldn't think about that.
Right.
So when we give you an embed form that you can put on your site or any kind of squeeze page, we collect the IP address, what their time zone is, the date and time that they opted in, and then also what URL that they opted in from. So if there was ever a question at all, here you go. Here's a record of it, and it's clear as night, right? Clear as day. So the other thing is for short code marketing. So with short codes, you're not opting in on a web page. You're texting the word to a number. For that, we collect that short code, so we know what keyword they came in from, what day. We can still get their location based on their phone number and all that kind of stuff. And again, we keep it for 4 years. So that's a big one that most people don't even understand or realize. The other thing is, just like for telemarketers, you don't want a telemarketer contacting you at 3 in the morning, right?
Absolutely.
So with text messaging, it's the same thing. You can't text before 8 a.m. and after 9 p.m. But it's not your time zone, it's their time zone. So you need to capture that time zone for every person and be able to recognize, hey, just because it's 5 o'clock in the afternoon for you doesn't mean it could be the middle of the night for them. So one of the fail safes that we have in our platform is that you don't have to worry about it. You can, for one, we don't even let you mail, or we don't let you message between the times that you're in the middle of the night. But we also have, hey, if you want to send out a text message at 10 a.m., it can go out to 10 a.m. at each specific person's time zone, which is really cool. So yeah, so I mean, again, we tried our best to give as many fail safes as possible to ensure that you guys are compliant, right? Another one being you need to have the stop or text stop to opt out. You need to have that opt out message on every single message that you send out. So that's just appended to your messages automatically. So
Okay. And does that count against your 160?
it does. So one of the things that we've done is we've given you the option to break it out into 2 messages. So if you want it to be, if you want the legal disclaimer, if you will, to be on the second message, you can do that.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, slick.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Anything else you want to cover about some tips that you've learned here in the past over the past year?
Yeah, I mean, it's very similar to capturing an email address, except it's obviously for a phone number. But obviously, the more incentives you have, right, to your list, the more you can tailor that offer to. And what I always try to do is do something that's kind of fun with mobile, right? I mean, like, again, give them an incentive to get on your mobile list, not your email list, right? And we've also made it optional. We've tested this before where we'll have an email address is required and then a phone number, because people are more willing to give their email address than their phone number. But again, you have to be a little bit more, innovative or unique with your pitch of how you want to capture their phone number. But we've done optional for phone number. That way you're at least getting the email address.
Sure, right.
But yeah, so I mean, what we could probably do is I could do a live demo
Let's
of
do
it.
Yep.
And you guys can kind of see it. Let me flip over to.
All right. While he does that, if you have any comments, any questions about the platform, while Mark's going through it, I'll kind of monitor that. So just go ahead and throw it in the comment area there.
Okay. So.
All right.
All right. Let me know. You guys should be able to see my screen now. Let me hold on. Yep. Can you see my screen all right?
There it is.
All right, cool. All right, so here we are. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. We are inside of the platform. So this is the dashboard. So when you log in, we've built this platform to be very similar to an email autoresponder. So if you guys have worked with Aweber, GetResponse, MailChimp, you guys have, it should come pretty natural to you. We've tried to use all the same terminology and verbiage that an email autoresponder would use. So things like broadcast, sequences. It's the same type of functionality, except it's done on a mobile device. So you'll be able to see your most recent broadcast. I'm just logged into a demo account here. You can see the date that it was sent, the number of messages that were sent. You can see the open rate. You can see the unsubscribe rate for each, and then you can see the click-through rate if you have a link in there. And then we also have this thing called an inbox, where you can actually have a dialogue, a conversation with someone. So if they reply to your message, you can reply right back and go back and forth. And sometimes that can close a deal, make a sale. The sky's the limit, just like texting a friend. So that's really cool. The other really neat thing that we've done is, let me just make this a little bit bigger. So,
You want to zoom in a little bit, Mark?
Yep. Yeah, it might be a little. There we go. Okay. So might be a little bit of a delay here. So one of the things that we allowed you guys to do is we integrate with a number of SMS services. So Twilio's one, Easy Texting is one, Callfire is one, and we're also integrating with more down the road as the platform evolves. Now, one of the really neat things is that you could opt somebody in from Easy Texting, and then you could send out a broadcast through Twilio. And so one of the cool things is, if you use Twilio, their pricing is really good for a per broadcast, like just shooting out messages to your list. Now, Easy Texting is really cheap and inexpensive for short code marketing. So being able to buy a keyword for a specific short code, you can get it really cheap. So you could have someone opt in through Easy Texting through a short code, and then you could send up follow up, a sequence, a broadcast through Twilio. So it's a best of all worlds, and everything syncs together. So if you send out a message through Twilio and they opt out, it automatically syncs, knowing that they originated from Easy Texting. So that's one of the things that you probably wouldn't really notice behind the scenes, but it's super, super powerful. Okay. The other thing that you can do, and I'll show you right here, is you can manage all of your different contact lists. And let's make this a little bit bigger here. So I can click on embed code, and you can embed a form similar to how you would with an email autoresponder form. So you create a new form, right? And then this is just a test, and I'm going to click on next. So what you can do is, sorry, I just increased there. That's a little bit better. So you can connect an email service at the API level. So if you want to connect with GetResponse or MailChimp, we're going to be adding more APIs soon. Or you can do your raw HTML form code, which means when someone opts in, you can collect their email address and their phone number, and the email address and phone number will both go into text deliver, but then you could also pass that email address over to your email autoresponder. So you can subscribe them both to your email list and your text deliver account all from one form, which is really cool. So you can add in your autoresponder, your raw code, and then we also have a GoToWebinar integration, so you can get people to opt in directly from here as well. Okay. Now there is, let me just click on next step. And so you can build out your form, right? So say that I wanted to add name, email address, Okay, and then you can give it labels, and you can change the order if you wanted to. And then once you just click on create embed code, and then we provide you the embed code that you can add to your HTML page, or if you use a page builder like Optimize Press or ClickFunnels or Lead Pages, you can create any type of squeeze page, lead, whatever type of page that you want to. Okay, so very, very cool there. The other thing that we do is, so you can see here that, here's the date that they were added, the first name, last name, phone number, the status. So if they're active or inactive. Obviously, if you go to broadcast to a list and they're inactive, you don't get mailed to them. You get their time zone, their IP address, their opt-in URL, the email address, and then you can manually unsubscribe someone if you wanted to, if they maybe called you or just replied to you in an email or whatever, and they didn't do the normal text stop to opt out. You can override it that way. Okay. Now with broadcast, again, very similar to an email service. So you'd be able to see your broadcast, when it was sent, which list or lists it was sent to, which phone number you use. So for this one, I used a Twilio account. I used this phone number. Here's the date and time, the number that was sent to, the click-through rate, the opens, your unsubscribes, and then if you allow calls and or SMS messages back, replies, right? And then, so if I want to create a new broadcast, I can select the user. Now, we'll get into the funnel in just a little bit of there's an upgrade agency that we'll talk about here in a little bit for those of you who are a marketing agency or you work with clients. We'll talk about that here in a second. But you can select the user, okay? You can select the phone number, whichever phone number you want from your different integrations. Okay, you can give this a name, and then you can do a text, or you could even do a voice, which certain services allow you to do text to voice. So basically you type in your message and then it goes and it calls each person and it sends out, it calls them and it says the message for you, whatever you texted. So it just depends on what you want to do. But for this example, I'll just do text, and then I can either do my local time zone, or my time zone, or the subscriber's time zone. Okay. If you do your time zone, it will queue up the message until it's within the 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. window for that subscriber. Okay. But for this example, I'll just say I wanted to do subscriber's time zone. Say I wanted to do these two lists, and I wanted to send this out tomorrow at 10 a.m. and then I can put in my message. So it shows you how many characters are left. So obviously we've already appended the legal compliance message. So you have 112 characters to work with, and you can create your message. You can add in customizable tags like their first name, last name, mobile number, email address, and that'll populate based on whatever it is that they opted in with. And then you also have the option to send the stop message separately, which would give you more real estate for your one message. But if you do that, it uses up 2 credits per person because it's sending out 2 text messages. Okay. And then if you add in a link, we automatically shorten that link for you. So if the link is 150 characters long, we go and shorten it up to, I think it's about 8 or 9 characters. So we try to maximize as much space as you want to. And then you just click save, and it'll either send immediately or scheduled based on whatever time you chose. Okay. The other big one is sequences, right? So just very similar to an email sequence. So here's an email sequence here. As you can see, if someone opts into this list, they get message number 1 immediately. Then 1 day later, they get message number 2 at 9 o'clock in the morning. And then they'll get the third message a day after that second message at 10 a.m. So I could just go in here, add new sequence message. Okay, I could say, okay, I want it to be after message number 3. I want it to be 2 days after, and I want it to be at 11 o'clock. And then I can just put in my message here, and then create and save. Okay, and it'll add it to the sequence. Okay, so again, very similar to an email autoresponder. Okay. Now there's a few other sections here. The numbers area is just where you pull in your numbers. So whichever third party you decide to integrate with, you'll have to buy a number, and then we just add that number into the platform, and then you can select 1 or 2 or whichever number you want to send out a broadcast or a sequence. Okay. And then same thing with keywords. You could go and you could add a new keyword. I could select the name, select the source, say that I have a short code from easy texting, and then I could select a keyword. Okay, so I can see if it's available, and then I could say, okay, so anyone who texts 20 off to 313131, I want them to get added to this contact list, right? And so they'll automatically get added on. So there's two different ways you can add people to a list, right? You can do it through an embed form, or you can do it through a short code, okay? And then finally, we have some performance data. So you can see the number of contacts that were added. You can see the number of broadcast messages that were sent out, and then the number of sequence messages that were sent out as well. Okay. Now, if you want, Keith, I can show. I mean, we can talk about the funnel a little bit. It might be a little bit easier if I show them a few of the OTOs now.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so we do have a few one-time offers that you may be interested in. The first one is the agency edition of Text Deliver. So that's going to allow you to create basically sub-accounts for your clients. So your client will have a unique login. They can go in, they can integrate their SMS services, their email services, and they can use, they can send out broadcasts, they can send out sequences, all that kind of stuff. Now that's under your main account. Now, we offer this you have to offer this as a service, okay? And so there are a few stipulations. Obviously, we don't want our customers just to go and just start undercutting us and selling this to thousands of people. That really wouldn't be good business on our end. So there are some minimums in terms of what you need to sell this for. The minimums are, as long as you can sell it for $37 a month or $197 per year, then you guys are good. So, and that should be very, very easy to do given what they're going to get. And this was really targeted at marketing agencies that want to manage marketing services for their clients, and they're paying them to manage their marketing, their mobile marketing. So that's really what this is meant for. But you could go into each person's account, give them access to specific campaigns, and then they can obviously go in and start to add their integrations. They're only going to see the integrations that are linked to their accounts. Okay, so that's the first one-time offer. Okay, the second one-time offer is the templates pack. So we have created 20 different squeeze pages or landing pages that are mobile friendly, that are really geared towards getting the person's cell phone number. So you'll see, we show the phone there, and I could open up a few of these so you can take a look at them. And if you've ever seen some of our sales page designs, we always get praise for some of our designs, and so a lot of our same designers created these templates, and so you can use all of these templates, right? And there's 20 of them, and it comes with the HTML and CSS, so it's already coded for you. Now, if you may have to customize it, right? You may have to change the headline, change the messaging a little bit. But if you don't know HTML, CSS, just go on Fiverr.com, pay someone $5, and I mean, they should be able to do it really, really fast, right? The other option is we're going to give you the Optimized Press templates. So if you guys use Optimized Press 2.0, we love using Optimized Press. It's really easy. You can import each of these templates into Optimized Press, and then you can go and drag stuff around and edit really, really easily without having to have any technical know-how, okay? We also give you the PSD, so you're gonna get the source files of the landing pages and the widgets. Okay, the widgets are very similar to the landing pages, but they're made for a sidebar. So if you have a blog or just a sidebar on your website, these are more like widget designs. Okay, and you get the source files for everything. So if you need to customize it however you want to, you'll have the source file, so you can do that. Okay, so that is a one-time payment of $97 for this template pack. Okay, the agency edition I should have mentioned is $37 a month and $197 per year. Okay, to have that. And then there is one more one-time offer. I'll show it to you really quick while we're on a screen share. Oops. Okay. Whoops. Okay, so I created a program called Mobilize Revolution. It's been about a year and a half now, but it's still extremely relevant and updated for now. And I used to sell this for $300 on webinars. And what this program teaches you is how to create mobile-friendly websites in just a few clicks of a mouse, and how to create mobile apps that you can sell on the Google Play and iTunes Marketplace. Okay, and you don't need any technical know-how at all. Okay, it used to be, a developer would have to develop it from the ground up if you want a mobile app, and it would cost tens of thousands of dollars. Okay, now you can go and sell mobile apps for thousands of dollars, and it could only cost you maybe a few $100s to have a virtual assistant go in, and there's certain resources and apps. I'll show you how to do this in the course on how to create these apps without any technical coding at all. Okay, so I go through and walk you through step by step all this. And I mean, if you're interested in it, you'll see, you can read the whole sales letter. But we also give you lots of other resources like point of sale posters that you could hang in a store with QR codes to get them on your list. And there's app graphics and all sorts of really cool stuff. So that's the other one-time offer in our sales funnel, and that's $77 one time for this program. So I'll hop on back, and then we can finish up here.
We're back. All right. Looks great. Now, I was lucky enough to be on the beta team for Cortex Deliver. So, I mean, the thing I really liked about it, and you mentioned it, it's so similar to just an email autoresponder, that the learning curve is, except for a few little things like keywords. I mean, you throw a couple of different features into the mix. Yeah. But very, very simple to use, and it works pretty much just like like an email autoresponder. Yep. So, okay, and when can we get this?
Yeah, so it'll be this Thursday. So I guess depending on when you're watching this, tomorrow, if it's live, if you guys are live, tomorrow, which is the 21st at 11 o'clock a.m. So Eastern time. So we're going to be doing a week-long launch, and we're going to be opening up a lifetime license, or the ability to purchase a lifetime license for the first 7 days. So if you purchase within that time frame, you have the option. We have monthly, yearly, and lifetime. The lifetime is $197, and that's one time, and you'll get access to all the upgrades in the future. Or you can do $37 a month or $127 per year. But then if you're not able to purchase during that week period, then we're going to remove the lifetime, and you can either get the monthly or annual.
Okay, good. So if you need to know where to go, there's a link in the description. You go ahead and click that at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow, which will be Thursday. You can go ahead and get your copy for that one-time price. I also have a free perfect SMS campaign guide or handbook that you can grab too. The link is above. I basically go through, kind of using the right words in your campaign, because you only have that short little bit to use. 7 important rules around building a campaign, and as well as metrics on how do you measure whether something was successful or not. So I go into, I believe it's the top 6 or 7 metrics you can kind of look at to see what's working for you and what's not. So you can go ahead and sign up for that above as well in the description. So that about wraps it up. Thanks, Mark. I appreciate you taking the time and walking through this with me. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be a great launch. Again, 11 a.m. tomorrow. Don't miss it. Grab your copy. Thanks so much for joining us.
See you guys. See you tomorrow.
There it is. All right.
Turn on?
Yep.